Our daughter looked at us during breakfast and said, "Why are you pretending to be my parents?" The words hung in the air like something toxic. I felt my chest tighten, that instant flood of confusion and fear that comes when reality suddenly changes. Lena went rigid beside me, her face draining of color. Claire, our 8-year-old, was watching us with an expression that made my skin crawl. It was polite, but distant, like we were strangers she'd been forced to sit with. "Claire, honey, what are you talking about?" Lena's voice cracked. "We are your parents." Claire shook her head slowly. "No, you're not. My real parents told me you'd say that." She returned to eating her pancakes as if she'd just commented on the weather. "They said you're nice people, but I shouldn't believe you." My mouth went dry. "Your real parents?" "Claire, we're your real parents. That's what they said you'd say too," Claire replied, her tone patient, like she was explaining something to a child. She looked up at me with those green eyes that were exactly like mine, but there was no recognition in them. "My real mom has blonde hair, not brown like yours, and my real dad wears glasses." Lena leaned forward, her voice sharp with panic. "Claire, this isn't funny. Stop this game right now." "It's not a game," Claire said simply. She pushed her plate away. "They visit me at night. They told me they had to leave me here for a while, but they're coming back for me." She stood up from the table. "May I be excused?" We sat frozen as she walked to her room. Lena turned to me, tears already falling. "What is happening? What is wrong with her?" Over the next week, it got worse. Claire started calling us Marcel and Lena instead of mom and dad. She drew pictures constantly, always the same two people, a blonde woman in a blue dress, a man with glasses and a beard. She labeled them real mommy and real daddy and hung them all over her room. When we tried to take them down, she screamed like we were destroying something precious. 2 weeks later, we heard Claire talking in her room. Lena grabbed my arm and pulled me to the door. We could hear Claire's voice clearly, having a full conversation, pausing as if listening to responses, but she was alone in there. "We need to see who she's talking to," Lena whispered, her eyes wild with fear. So we installed a camera in the hallway. The first night, nothing. The second night, at 4:14 a.m., the motion alert woke us. We watched Claire walk out of her room on the monitor. She stood in the hallway, looking up at empty air, nodding and speaking. "I know, Mommy. I miss you too. When can I come home?" She waited, tilting her head as if listening, then nodded again. "Okay, I'll keep pretending." Lena's nails dug into my arm. "She's hallucinating. Our baby is seeing things. Or sleepwalking," I said, but my voice sounded hollow even to me. The next day, while Claire was at school, we tore apart her room. Under her bed, Lena found a tablet we didn't recognize. It was replaying a show with a blonde woman, a man with glasses, and a little girl who looked like Claire. The parents looked exactly like Claire's drawings. Even the living room, the kitchen, and everything else matched her pictures. "Where did this come from?" Lena asked, her hands shaking. Our daughter was living in a fantasy world based on a TV show, and we had no idea how deep it went. We took Claire to her pediatrician, then a neurologist, then a child psychologist. Each appointment was torture, watching Claire politely explain to doctors that we weren't her real parents. The psychologist ran tests over 3 sessions. Finally, she called us in alone. "Claire has a rare sleep disorder," she explained. "Her dreams are getting mixed up with reality. She can't tell the difference between what she dreams and what actually happens." "How is that possible?" Lena demanded. "She's been watching this show every night before bed, then she dreams about it, but her brain is treating those dreams like real memories. The TV family feels more real to her than you do." She showed us brain scans. "See this unusual pattern? She's basically living 2 lives, and her brain thinks the dream life is the real one." "How do we fix this?" I asked desperately. "We need to break the cycle. No screens before bed, sleep therapy, possibly medication to regulate her REM cycles. We need to help her create strong reality markers." The treatment was slow. Claire cried for her real parents every night, but gradually, the confusion began to fade. 3 months later, she called me dad again. Lena sobbed when it happened. We never found out where the tablet came from.